Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the BAW show for another week.
We're back.
Yes, we are back. I am joined by Kira. Hello, Kira. Are you less stressed with uni now?
I am much less stressed. I only have one assignment left and an exam, so I'm feeling great about life. It would be really good if we were here talking about a win, but that's okay. We'll dissect the loss and have a look forward to our two final games of the home and away season.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, no, I can't.
When you think about it, should we not make finals, this could be our third last show.
Which is ridiculous because it's like we started yesterday.
It felt like we started yesterday. I just can't believe it. But no, just want to thank our sponsor, the Carlton Cheer Squad. Hi, guys. I know you're probably watching. And a big shout out to Terry as well and the BA crew for giving us this delightful platform that we have here with us this evening. The comments started coming in before the show even started, Kira.
I know. People are stressed. People need to talk about the loss. They need to know what it means for our finals chances. So we'll get straight into it.
Let's get straight into it.
I feel like we talk about it every week, but I don't think people understand truly how much we dance. Like Shannon and I are full like, yeah, and then in the last 30 seconds of it, we're like
straight faced. Very good. But no, let's have a quick look at who's joined us early. Thank you, Kate. I know you are in New Zealand. Thank you so much. I think I've seen you in the comments every single week, and it's incredible to see. Agree, much better game, not the result we hoped for, but learnings that we are going to take away. And we did say that these types of games were the crucial ones, but we will get into a bit of the review just in a sec. Beachy, hi Beachy. That's right. We'll touch on what Bucky said a bit later, which is something that I know we were just talking about prior to coming on. Look, fair, and you probably watch their game this weekend, and you're probably right, Michael. They probably won't. And welcome, Andy. So let's get into it.
I just want to start. I want to start with two words. Zali Goldsworth.
Yeah,
she is. I really wish we were talking about her as a Carlton player right now, but she is an outright star. Like
100%.
Her numbers from that game match up with one of the best individual AFLW performances ever. 5 goals, 24 disposals, 12 tackles, 3 contested marks, and she's 18 years old.
18. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. She's 18. And I watched the game. I made myself watch the game in full yesterday. And it was cringeworthy just listening to Daniel Harford talking. But the way that they were all speaking about her, incredible. Like, I think they said at one point that on her own, 9 tackles. And unbelievable.
Like, Chris Beach is absolutely spot on. You obviously don't know and you can't talk in hypotheticals, but I'm pretty confident in saying Zali doesn't play, we win. Like 5 goals. 5 goals. We had six individual goal kickers. I'd slide that in somehow. But she kicked 5 on her own. Like, that is unbelievably good football, and I'm extremely jealous that she's not wearing the navy blue, but I'm, by same merit, extremely excited to watch what she can do with her career, because if she's doing this at 18 years old, boy oh boy, does she have an incredible career ahead of her.
As what's his name, BT, boy oh boy, wowee.
Yeah, that.
And you know what strikes me as completely like, we were talking about this before, and it just got the stats up from the game. So we had 19 shots from 39 inside 50s. Obviously, not all of them are hitting the scoreboard because we kicked 7-5. And they had 13 shots from 29 inside 50. So the standout there for me is we had 10 inside 50s more than they did. We had 137 contested possessions to 102. We had tackles in forward 50, 36 to 24. So we were locking the ball in our forward 50. We're just breaking down when we get in there.
Yeah.
And I remember I was at my sister-in-law's baby shower and I was just watching a group chat that I was in with the cheer squad, and they were just saying, why can't we hold a mark? Why can't we hold a mark? I'm like, what is going on? So when I watched the replay yesterday, it made perfect sense. Every time the ball would enter our forward 50, it'd be a dropped mark, it'd be spoiled, but there wouldn't be the people on the ground. And it frustrated me because rebounding, they would get the ball into their forward 50 and would score like instant. Like we'd score a goal, they'd score a goal. It was literally goal for goal. I think 8 points at one point was the highest lead for the game. So it was a really even, like an even contest. But yeah, we did miss Phoebes, and I didn't even realize that she wasn't playing until I watched. And I know we had Jess Good also out, and Kira Fitzgerald came in again as the emergency really, really late.
And I think the other thing that's really frustrating about that and our forward line breakdown is that it was the exact same issue last week. And I get it, you can't, fix every problem overnight, but I feel like the breakdown of forward line and just getting people to play their role in collecting the ball when it hits the ground and, being there to take a mark, get it down to the floor to our little players, I think that's what frustrates me the most, because we saw it identical last week. This isn't a new problem for us. This is something that we've struggled on week. Even when we have won, it hasn't been the cleanest. So I'm just wondering why that, maybe I hope it is something we've addressed during the week, but why that is something that's taking so long to fix, because really it's not that big of an issue, and it's a very simple fix. You've just got to be there and take the crumb when it's there for your opportunity, because that's exactly where we're going wrong at the moment. It's a breakdown in our forward line.
Coach Kira, everyone.
I'm co-hosting with Coach Shan, so I've got to try and pitch in somewhere where I can.
No, but you're 100% correct. I've always been taught when I'm a crumbing forward or I'm a forward in general, I lead to the footy. If I don't get it, that's fine. But if I'm that crumbing forward, I need to be at the feet, front and center. Every time the ball enters our forward 50, it's their crumbing defenders that are first to the footy. They're always first to the footy. Our ability to lock the ball into our forward 50, fantastic. We had more inside 50 tackles than I think we've had in a couple of weeks. Yep. Right. Tick that box. We're holding the ball in. Now, we are one of the strongest clearance teams. I think I heard Bree Moody had the most clearances for us individually. So
yeah, she had 13.
Yeah. So if we know that she's going to win the ball out of the ruck at any point, all right, fine. Midfielders, push up the ground. Let Bree grab it out of the ruck. You know she's got a good boot on her. You be that crumb.
Yeah.
Make yourself an option. Like, our ball movement this year has been so much better. Our ability to actually win the footy, take marks, slow the ball down, every line is doing a phenomenal job this year. It's just that little breakdown of communication between getting the ball in the midfield or winning it off halfback, getting it to the wing, and then entering our forward 50.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it week in, week out. Like, we're kicking the ball into our forward 50, we're winning the ball, and then it's getting intercepted by a loose defender. How does that, like, okay, if there's a player loose, where are we? Where's her opponent? Like, if she's the ball, she's a midfielder. Like, Zalia Goldsworthy was in there in our back line taking, intercept marks at one point. So it's like, okay, well, where's her opponent?
Yeah, spot on. And
it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
It is extremely frustrating, but trying to look at the positive side of it, it is a very obvious issue and one that I have no doubt that we are working on, and that another preseason, that is something we can really hone in on and fix. I think, it's not an issue that is the end of the world or something that's unfixable. It is a very fixable issue. And I think that is the positive side of it, or the exciting side of it. Injuries are definitely not an excuse, but yeah, Blues 07, you are correct. Delpos also was injured. So we did have a few of our main clogs out once again, which we mentioned last week. A young side, not an excuse, but a young side, it does take them a little bit longer to adjust to losing really key players in the game plan. But yeah, I think we've hit the nail on the head. I think it's just a breakdown in the forward line that's really costing us at the moment. And on that note, not really on that note, but GWS actually set an AFLW record on the weekend for most tackles ever in an AFLW game, which I thought was really interesting because they had 104 tackles and we didn't miss the mark by that much. We had 98. So they set a record and we had 98. So I think that is something as well that we can hold our head high on, is that we were able to match them with pressure. And I think that's something that's really pleasing.
It is really pleasing. But on the flip side, there were a number of tackles that were able to break.
Yeah.
So I think that's one key thing that stood out for me, is their ability to get their hands up and get their hands out. And I think that's something that against Essendon this coming week, we're going to have to address, because I know Maddie Prasparkas is really good at putting her hands above her body, getting the hands out. And that's something that she's done when she was at Carlton, like doing it since juniors. So we just need to be mindful that when we are going in for the tackle, that we're not going in with one arm, but going in with two. We get our arms, wrap them around.
We're not tackling them. We're not tackling them to look good. We're tackling them to create pressure and make it really difficult for the opposition. So I think that's just what we need to keep at the forefront of our mind.
Yeah, and that's what Zalia was doing. Zarika was doing really well. I think there's some of their players with their second and third and fourth efforts once the ball hit the deck was really, really good. Their pressure was probably the best pressure I've seen GWS apply all year. It's probably their best game for the year, if I'm perfectly honest. We were about 5% off where I know we can be. So that's okay. I'm overall not too unhappy because there was a lot of little wins. And one of those wins was actually Mia Austin. She's finally gotten herself a Rising Star nomination, which
Hallelujah.
is thoroughly deserved. I mean, we've only spoken about it for ages, how much this girl is improved so fast. And I think she was one of our shining lights heading into forward 50, her ability to take a one-on-one mark, because Pippa Randall isn't a slouch of a defender. So kudos to her. Well done on a well-deserved Rising Star nomination.
Absolutely. And talking about wins, now Bucky did say in his press conference, which I was really pleased about, that you can't control others. We have to focus on ourselves. You can't be looking at other teams' results to get you into finals. But with that being said, we have come out of this round pretty lucky in terms of the results around us, because we aren't completely out of it at this rate due to other teams losing that are around the mark at us. So do you want to go through that, Shan?
Yeah. So for us, I'm going to the ladder. So Hawthorn losing puts them kind of out of the race now. Freo beating St Kilda, good. Chef's kiss. Geelong losing, chef's kiss. Port Adelaide and Gold Coast having a draw. That just puts them 2 points ahead as opposed to 4. And last but not least, West Coast pulling off the absolute steal of the round at Windy Hill, beating the Bombers by 4 points. When my dad messaged me that, I nearly fell off my chair, because I watched the first half, maybe 3/4, and I'm like, oh, Essendon will run over the top of them here. Dad messaged me and he's like, so West Coast just beat Essendon. And I'm like, I had to reread that a couple of times. But kudos to West Coast because that was probably their best game for the year. And like when you're playing Essendon, who are up in that top echelon this year, just, you know, continuously winning games, to beat them away from home on their spiritual home deck, big claps. That is incredible. Well done.
Absolutely. But I feel like this is a great segue into something I find so bizarre. So a little bit of AFLW news. It's not Carlton, but I feel like we need to touch on it. West Coast's coach, senior head coach, Michael Pryor, resigned today, effective immediately, right? Which, one, extremely bizarre that it comes after a win against Essendon. And secondly, he's not leaving. He's staying as a development coach. So I find this really odd. I read the press release West Coast put out and I read the article on the AFLW website. It said that it was a planned sort of thing and that 2023 was always going to be his final year being head coach, which if that's the case, you wait until the end of the season because the plan can't be that you're resigning effective immediately on a random Wednesday with 2 rounds left in the home and away season after a win. And if you are going to resign in the middle of the season, it just doesn't sit right with me that you're staying as a development coach.
No, not at all. And when you told me this before we came live, I was confused, a little bit confused because like you said, like why would you hang around? Maybe step away for the rest of the season, then come back as a development coach if this is the decision you want to make, or see out the season, then become a development coach.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of the now head coach who was their assistant coach and the players, and it's just a really awkward scenario. Like, I think I'd feel really awkward being the assistant coach who's now the head coach because the head coach resigned, but having him sit next to me when I'm telling the players what I want them to do. Like, I find that really awkward.
Oh, that coach's box is going to be interesting for the next 2 weeks. And I think West Coast play home next week against the Bulldogs. And then they play home against Adelaide to finish off the year. So
very interesting.
Yeah. Interesting is a word I'll use.
It is a great word to use.
It's bizarre is another word I'd like to throw out there.
So bizarre. Also, like, I was just reading the quotes from it and it said, I felt like now, give or take some words, don't actually quote me on this, but it said something like Pryor said, I felt like now was a good time to step away, ending on a high after a win. Like, I find that really awkward too. You're meant to win. You're the coach. Like, you don't get a win and then be like, oh, that's me done. Like, I just don't get it.
Oh,
but anyway, that's enough about West Coast. Let's move back to Carlton.
Yeah, let's finish off the review of the Giants game. Big kudos to them. Well-deserved win. Let's go with our votes. Those in the audience, if you want to give us your 3, 2, 1, we'll pop them up on the screen really quick. Kira, do you want to do your 3, 2, 1 first?
Yeah, of course. I'm agreeing with the coaches and the coaches' vote. So I'm going 3 Moody, 2 Shirar, and 1 McKay.
I am actually mirroring yours this week. Bree Moody was phenomenal. Just to quickly go over a couple of her stats, she had 46 hitouts. That is crazy. She had 12 clearances, 5 tackles, and 16 kicks overall. So yeah, she was fantastic. Keely Shirar is proving why we picked her. She is a really good runner. She's hard at the footy and she's just, really, really, really good for us. And there's no words you need to say about Addie McKay. She is always up there with the coaches' votes, and I think she'll go pretty close to winning the best and fairest this year.
Which, by the way, if anyone wants to go, tickets are on sale. Head to the club website.
Yes, I did get that email. Still no venue though, which is a little bit weird.
That's really bizarre. I was like, I don't know how I feel. I mean, obviously, I want to go no matter where it is, but I don't know how I feel about buying tickets without knowing a venue. Like, I think
That's
that is a
exactly what
really.
Michelle and I had this conversation the other day because I went in and popped into St. Rose. If you're ever in Essendon, you want a really good coffee, go to St. Rose. Shout out there. But we were actually talking about it, and I'm like, well, where is it?
And like, it's just a bit odd. Like, I think of the pricing concept, even like you're paying however much you're paying, and then they could turn around and be like, oh, by the way, it's at the club, or like, which is fine. But like, they could just do something that's not worthy of what you're actually buying because they haven't told us where it is. I just find it bizarre. But anyway, yes, everyone go there. St. Rose.
Hi, Dad. Good to see you watching. But just go back. Dad's the first one to put his votes up. Mia, Austin, Moody, and Mua. Yeah, Mua did have a couple of really good intercept marks. Haven't spoken to her this week, actually. I'll probably see her tomorrow in our team meeting. Yeah, well, that closes out that chapter. We move on
to the dreaded Essendon.
And when I saw this pop up in the fixture at the start of the year, and I knew it was at Windy Hill, I'm like, well, right. It's going to be very windy. I actually work out of that office. I work out of the EDFL office at Windy Hill, so I'm there most days if I'm not out working in the field. So looking at Saturday's forecast, no rain, 24, windy.
Windy. So I don't think I've ever been to Windy Hill and it not been windy. So
same. I think I played my grand final there in 2018. Coldest August day ever.
Make sure you bring your jacket
on the bench. So it was cold. But
bring your Catmandu's.
Bring your Catmandu's.
The most Melbourne jacket in the world. Make sure you have it there.
Bring your beanies, bring your scarves. As Carlton have been putting up really good promotional material this week. Let's,
that video was good.
How good was it?
That was nice.
Like everyone swarmed to the hill. Get to the hill. Parking is very limited around there.
I hate it more than anything. It's so bad.
Really bad. I know there's 3-hour parking, angled parking, couple of car parks.
If you can. Get a lift with a friend.
Get the train to Essendon Station. It's literally like a 5-minute walk down from there. I'm probably going to park at my in-laws that live in Essendon and jump on a tram. Stops at Essendon Station. You can walk down.
Don't get a staff parking pass.
Can't get one.
Damn it. I was relying on you, Shan.
I know. Well, look, it's a late third afternoon game on Saturday. It's a 3:05 start.
Everyone listen to Kate. Kate said, don't worry about it being cold. It's snowing in New Zealand.
Yeah, so it's a 3:05 start. I'll probably be there for the first little bit because I've got family dinner on, but I will in Essendon, so it's not far. I'll be there, freezing, but that's okay. Pop over and say hi. Come and stand next to the cheer squad if you're wearing your Carlton gear. We want to try and get as many people there as possible. Yes, let's smash this mob.
Let's do that.
Let's quickly have a look at their game from last weekend. We'll do a quick whip around of them. They didn't actually kick a goal until the last quarter.
We need to replicate that. In saying that, that actually terrifies me. Like, it makes me feel a little bit ill because they won't do that 2 weeks in a row. We can try, but I highly doubt it.
No, but from watching bits and pieces of the game, they're really missing Daria Bannister. She was their go-to goal kicker for mine. And I know Bonnie Toogood is also a really, really good forward, but I've noticed her push up. I've noticed her push up the ground a lot to find the footy. If the ball wasn't down their end, she'd go and find her own footy. That's fine. Like, if you want to let her go and come up the ground and leave us well set up behind the ball, go for your life.
Incredible. Be my guest.
Go for a run. So we worked out that kicking to the hill end is where the wind goes. So not the grandstand end, not the Napier Street end, but the Bowls Club end is where West Coast kicked their first 2 goals. So they had that the first and the third quarter. Essendon didn't capitalise on that in the second quarter and kicked 2 goals in that third. So that's where I think, that fourth. That's where I think West Coast won the game.
Yeah.
Kicking those 2 goals in the first quarter and then holding them scoreless, I'm pretty comfortable that they won that game by halftime. So looking at their ball winners, if we're going to have a quick look.
Maddie Press-Sparkles.
Wow. So I'm having a look. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 of their players scored 10 or more possessions. Only 7. Maddie Press-Sparkles is doing Maddie Press-Sparkles things. 30 disposals, 9 clearances, 10 tackles. So another player that I really, really want us to watch is Nanscorn.
Yes.
Georgia Nanscorn.
Absolutely.
She, coming back off an ACL that she did in the grand final of the VFLW last year, missed all of last season, came back this year, 20 disposals.
Is a star.
Listen to this, 6 clearances, 17 tackles. 17 tackles. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
It is going to be a tackle fest.
Absolutely.
GWS broke the record, I think it's going to go very close to one of us breaking that record, and that's the key. We just need to shut down their outside ball, and when we do win the footy, don't just bomb it in hope. Don't just stick it on your boot and just hope that it lands on a Carlton chest. You can't do that against Essendon.
Absolutely. And as much as we said earlier that a lot of results went our way on the weekend, it doesn't matter how many results go your way if you can't win. So there's 2 games left. It really does boil down to this, and we lose on the weekend, we're out of the hunt. Like, we need to win, and boy, oh boy, will it be 10 times sweeter because it's Essendon. And
in Essendon.
Respect Maddie and how good of a player she is, but she left us. She jumped ship. Let's not forget that. And make sure she remembers that on the field as well, because we don't like that.
No, and it's going to be an interesting day. I don't really think Cody Jacques she didn't really have much of an impact. She only had 8 disposals. Paige Scott only had 7. She's another one of those forwards that we really need to watch. She's really good at leading towards the ball. So our defenders need to be hot on them. Like I said, where is she? Bonnie Too Good, 14 disposals, 1 goal, 2. And she had 11 tackles herself. So I think that we know who we need to shut down. We know how good Maddie Press-Sparkles is.
We know better than anyone.
Who goes to her?
I'm going to be honest. I think and this might sound insane, I think I'd prefer if we at least start the game and play a team defense and try and beat her as a team rather than sending one player to her. I think she's good, and I think we need to have a plan in place if she gets off the hook to stop her and put a stop to her. I think that's definitely something we need in our back pocket. But I think we can't look too much at individuals when this will be a team-based win. Like, we need to beat Essendon as a whole and not just Maddie Press-Sparkles. And
totally
as much as I just went on a tangent about how we can't forget that she left us and all that, like, we also have to remember that there is 22 other people on the field, and they're also going to play a role in this win. So I actually think to start the game at least, I'd rather just beat their midfield as a midfield.
Yeah. And we've only played them once. We've only played them once. And that was
oh my gosh. It all just came back. I remember that game. I
Port
remember
Melbourne,
the show.
we played them in Port Melbourne that day.
Yes, I remember the show after. I could tell you exactly what I said.
Should we go back and rewatch
No,
that?
let's not, because we're going to win and then have a happy show and we won't have to relive that.
No, that's true. And that I was just sitting here going head to head. I'm like, how many times have we played Essendon? This is the second time we played them.
Yeah.
So this will be the first time. No, the second time we played Maddie, because we played them in the second half of last year.
Yeah.
So this is the second time we'll be playing against Maddie. And it's, look, make her earn it.
Absolutely.
Every possession she has, within reason, make her earn it. Put that tackle on, put that bump on, put that pressure on. Don't give her free license to run.
And I might be a really old-fashioned 19-year-old here, but no hugs before the game, please. Save them till after. We can be friends after the game, before the game. She's our rival and we want to beat her. No hugs. No, hope your day's been good. No, thank you.
No. Look, love the girl to bits, but when you pull on that red sash, that's what I want to say. Plenty of hatred. I absolutely can't stand Essendon. Sorry, Thomas, who is sitting out there. So Dad's jumped the gun here. Let's get predictions. So Blues by 17. Love your optimism, Dad. You haven't been to Windy Hill in a very long time. Must have forgotten how windy it actually is. I love a ladder predictor. I really do.
I think Bucky's doing the ladder predictor too. I really liked what he said in his press conference after the game on the weekend. He said, well and truly still in the hunt if we win the next 2 games. So it's all on us now.
That's it. I'm riding the wave of everybody's hatred of Essendon right now. It's so good.
Can I give you all a heart attack, but it will be so beautiful?
What?
We're going to win after the siren.
Bye. Oh, no. There it is.
Sorry. It's got to happen. They did it to us. They hurt us so badly last time. So let's do it back.
That's it. Well, I think we're going to win by 10 points.
That's nice. I'd like that.
So are we going to win by 1 point after the siren or 5?
It doesn't matter. We're just going to win after the siren.
Okay. If that scenario you've got, who do you want to have the final kick?
Oh, this is a good one.
I know who I want.
Okay, I'm going to be really petty here. Really, really petty. I want it to be Mim or McKay because they have taken Pressparkers' spot.
Okay, so everyone's going to put in here. So Skepper, okay. Bree Moody.
Oh, that's grouse. I love that.
20 metres out, slide angle, with the wind, curves in. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's chef's kiss. I like that one.
Well, if I'm going to play the fantasy with you, I'm going to have a fantasy outcome.
Absolutely.
So that's my fantasy outcome. If your prediction,
my prediction comes true,
I want it to be Bree Moody, please.
Absolutely.
And I reckon there'll be a few people in the audience that will agree with me. Dad's gone DV if they play. Fitzpatrick for Beachy. We should actually ask Tez after the show. We'll ask him. We'll go if you're going to have someone kick after the siren, who would it be? Michael Moods from 45. I reckon she'd get the distance with the wind at her back, to be honest. But anyway, well,
Shan might run on and take it.
Oh, can I? I haven't kicked a goal on that ground.
I'll be the goal umpire and you can kick the goal.
Done. Well, I haven't actually kicked a goal on that ground. I've kicked a goal on Preston City Oval. I've kicked a goal on Coburg City Oval. Haven't kicked one on Windy Hill.
Well, you can kick it on the weekend.
Done. Look, and halftime doesn't count.
No, it does not.
Damn. Okay. Well, see? Dad. He knows I can kick it from 25, 30 metres out. Thanks, Dad. But on that note, now that we've put our predictions out in the universe, let's keep our fingers and toes crossed that they come to fruition because, as everyone said in the comments, this is probably the game. If we win this week, it'll come down to us and St Kilda next week, depending on results going our way. But like you said, we can't have results going our way. We need to win it for ourselves. And that's exactly what we said with the men's. Like, our destiny is in our own hands. If it's meant to be, it's up to me, as the great Ron Barassi once said. So on that beautiful note, thank you, Kira, for joining me once again this evening. That is round 8 done and dusted.
It is. We'll be back next week.
We will. We'll be here, same time, same channel. Have a good night, everyone, and go Baggers.
Go Blues.